And of course, hello to everybody watching live from around the world via Twitch. This is the ESL One Katowice 2015 Counter-Strike Global Offensive. And we have got a phenomenal 4 days lined up for you. Nothing short of spectacular. 16 teams, two groups of 8 have made their way here, and they're battling it out for fame, glory, power, bragging rights. It's all important stuff. But of course, $250,000 are on the line too. That's up for grabs. And this fantastic trophy standing behind me. Everything to play for. We've got a really great matchup here in Group A to start off with, and that's the French teams dueling it out. So, without further ado, let me invite up to Titan EnVyUs. Nathan, my man, how you doing? Come here. Get nice and close to me. How you feeling?
Very good. I mean, we're here with many people watching the first game of the tournament. We're facing our fellow countrymen. Just expecting a great game.
Now, I mean, this is already a pretty packed out crowd. What's that like to come out here, you know, Katowice, you're familiar with the place. What's that like?
Yeah, last year was crazy, and I just expect this year to be the same because, yeah, that was probably the best crowd I witnessed in the whole esports time, and yeah, I just expect the Polish guys to make a lot of noise again.
The Polish guys will make a lot of noise, I promise you. Good. Now, of course, a lot's been made coming into this. Of course, you guys know each other, 2 French teams, a lot of history. Do you think, is that something you planned with going into this?
Yeah, I think games with people from your own country are very interesting because it's not normal Counter-Strike that you're going to see. Every team knows each other extremely well at a personal level. So you know what they're going to do, and they know what we're going to do, so we have to mix things up. And yeah, it's always interesting games.
Well, sir, I wish you the best of luck. Please join your team. And of course, they can't play on their own, which means we need to have a contender. So enjoy and join me in bringing to the stage Team Titan. Maniac, good sir, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Now, obviously this crowd, I saw you beforehand, taking some photos, saying hi. What's that like for you?
It's a part of the tournament. You know, coming to such tournament and meeting so many people, this is such a great feeling for us.
Now, obviously, Nathan mentioned you guys have history, you know each other. Is that something that was on your mind coming into this, or it's another day at the office for you?
Well, you know, when you come as a low seed, you know that your first match is going to be a top seed. So anyway, it's going to be a tough match. But when we knew that we had to play Envy, that makes it particular, of course. But we just have to win whoever we face.
Sounds like logic right there. Well, I wish you the best of luck, sir, and I'm sure everybody does here too. Guys, give it up for Titan and give it up for Team EnVyUs. Thank you, guys. Now, of course, for any time of a game of this magnitude, for a tournament of this magnitude, we need a team of veritable who's who, knowledge kings within the scene, and that is our analyst desk. And they're headed up by one man. Some call him a myth, a legend. I call him Machine. Over to you, sir.
So very charming, sure. So we're going to be going into EnVyUs versus Titan. I am so very excited to be kicking this one off. I mean, no better way to start the big, huge major, the first 2015. We're going to start with a bang, 2 French sides colliding. And now, as soon as I see that Titan logo, as soon as I see them on stage, the first thing I think that needs to be highlighted is the reason that they're going up against EnVyUs in their first game. Going up against, of course, because of their performance in the offline qualifiers. And I'm going to start with you, actually, Casper. Was there a particularly, I mean, they had a lot of pressure on them. How are Titan going to perform into this one? Do you think it's going to affect their path?
I don't think it's going to affect them, to be honest. They came in as clear favorites. I think they took the task a bit too easy, and that's why they came up with difficult matchups, such against the double overtime against Peter, and also losing to CLG. But when it really mattered in the last game against Copenhagen Wolves, they showed that they deserve to be here. And I think they are just one of the teams. They are the 4th seed that no one wants to meet, and now they're going up in a domestic matchup against EnVyUs, and it's going to be so crazy. I think they're going to perform well no matter what. You shouldn't count those results too much.
And Hiko, what about you?
Yeah, I actually agree with Casper. I think EnVyUs definitely has the skill factor. Titan's going to rely a lot on Kenny S to actually show what he's worth. Titan actually needs Kenny S to play to his absolute ceiling. EnVyUs on paper, to me at least, has the skill, the knowledge, the power to actually push them through this group and actually make it probably the first seed. So yeah, in my opinion, it's going to be a lot on Kenny S to actually show what he's worth.
Yeah, and you've touched on Kenny. I mean, every time you see Titan, think Titan, that's the name that comes to mind. And actually, I'm going to come over to you, Lauren. And I mean, we're going to be interested to know how you feel about the kind of Carry S title that's been given to him.
I think it's quite funny that people have kind of branded him with this slight mark in a way, because I do vaguely recall a discussion they was having, and he basically doesn't like being told that he's the guy who has to perform, and he carries his team, because without his team he can't perform as well. And in an interview recently, they say they don't build around him. It's not like a strategy depends on this one guy, but they just let him loose and they let him play. And it's dangerous to have someone doing that, though, at a best of one. If he doesn't find that form instantly, there could be issues, but it's Kenny S. Can you really doubt him?
I'm not sure they can. Of course, I have to introduce the new addition to the desk, the new father at the desk. It's Anders. And Anders, your thoughts on EnVyUs versus Titan. When you see that on paper, what are your first thoughts?
Well, it is incredible that both the French teams ended up in the same group. Really, really exciting. And as MBK was pointing out, the domestic matchup always makes it a lot more interesting, a lot more, and really hard to predict, because these guys know things about each other that we can't even begin to really talk about. So there could be all sorts of things going on, sort of underneath all of it, that are really hard to predict. But it's a really, really good matchup.
Yeah, hard to predict. Lauren, how do you feel?
I think reading the interview earlier on, that I think it was MBK did with HLTV, basically saying when it comes down to these matches where it's a French team against a French team or any other regional kind of lock, it's a 50-50, because as you said, you can't just necessarily play that same style that they used to, because each other knows them so well. But then I guess it gets onto the topic of what style do you prefer? The loose style that maybe allow you to adapt more, or the stricter style, which maybe you could argue Existence kind of champions, that could maybe get you that comfort a little earlier. It's going to be difficult, I think, in this one. It's two different kind of schools of thought here.
Okay, you mentioned in-game leaders. As soon as I heard Existence, I was like, if there's Existence, there's Happy. And I mean, they're two very different in-game leaders. And Hiko, do you think that's going to bring two different styles? Is that going to affect the way this game plays out?
So actually, I disagree with Pansy. I think the looser style of play actually will benefit EnVyUs over Titan. As NBK said in his interview, and as an American playing against other Americans, it definitely does come to like a 50-50. Each team knows what they do. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to individual performances. Who is actually playing the best CS that they can? So with that being said, like with Existence leading Titan and him actually going for that more structure, that more tighter style of play, you're actually expecting them, if they run into problems early, they don't really have anything to fall back on. Where on the other hand, for Envy, they're going to start off playing loose, and if that doesn't work, everyone's played the game for long enough, especially on EnVyUs.
Yeah.
They can just switch and play more structured. They played all the maps all the time. So I think I'm going to give it to EnVyUs winning this one.
Casper?
Yeah, you really want to talk about this head-to-head between Happy and Existence, because they are so different. They bring different things to the team. Existence is a real leader in terms of leadership. He leads his team on the morale and in-game. Happy more in-game, I think. And the difference that I really want to talk about is we talk so much about Kenny, because he's the guy to look out for in this matchup. And is he going to be able to perform? I talked with Kenny at DreamHack Summer after losing once again to Kenny. And I said to him, Kenny, who is the best AWP you ever played against? Is it me? He laughed a bit and said, no, Casper, it's not you. So I asked him, which ones do you fear? And he said, Smits. And that's what Anders talked about. They know each other so well. And that's why he fears Smits a bit, because they played in the same team for a long time, going all the way back to CSS. And the angles that Smits is playing is extremely clever. And that is something which could catch Kenny off guard at times. But the thing is, Kenny is so fast that even if you're in the right place at the right time, it's not sure that you're going to win that one.
And, I mean, you're talking about Kenny S. You think this is going to be all down to him again?
No, I actually don't. So I have like a theory that I've been trying to express for a while about the Titan team and how it works out. Because when the whole French Revolution came about and all the French players were scattered about, Titan and Envy, well then LDLC, and then obviously Epsilon as well. That was sort of where all the different French players went, the top in the scene. And it was really clear from the beginning, I think, that the back then the LDLC team was the easier project to make work, because you did have a looser style, which is always going to be easier, and the Titan project was always going to be a lot harder because it takes a long time. If you're playing with Existence in a team, you can't just be picked up. No matter how good you are, it's going to take a couple of months, probably maybe half a year, before you really start to understand why his whole vision makes sense. And that's not something you can do in a really short time. Now, even worse for Titan is they had to swap out a player in between, but they did bring in RPK, and here's where it comes. Here's where my vision comes in. The problem that Titan have been facing all along, in my mind, is that they've had Kenny, and the best you could possibly get in terms of just picking up a monstrous amount of frags. But then you go back and you say, well, you need someone who's an entry fragger. And unfortunately for Titan all along, the entry fragger has been Apex, and he's probably one of the best in Europe at doing it, but he's also the second carry. So when your entry fragger and your second carry is the same role, then he's already dead. And then it really is up to Kenny. He's the only guy left. But I don't think it's going to be the case anymore. I think RPK's there. So now Apex can do real entry fragging, and RPK can do the other part of the job.
A 5-man effort.
Yeah.
Lauren?
I think RPK is actually going to be such an influential member in this. So many players these days are saying he's actually starting to not necessarily hit his peak form, but certainly getting to a very competitive level. And as you said, coupled with Apex, you kind of take the weight off one and you spread it out a little more. Kenny S doesn't have to do it. It's actually a very dangerous lineup, and I'm still sticking with Titan in this one, just because I feel the best of one start. Just mentally for me, if you were the first guy on stage at first game, these guys are still human. You've got to take it to that element. They're still partly nervous, I can imagine, to a degree. And it's quite nice to have some boundaries there, some structure that okay, we're going to play this out. We just know what we're doing. That loose style, I'd say best of 3 is going to walk it. I think once that comes into play, you get so much adaptation, so much variation, you can't just counter that. But I think for the first game on stage against your classic rivals, I think you'd want a little bit of structure. At least I know I would.
Understandable. And now, you talked about RPK. We're going to go into a bit of depth about him, because his last tournament prior to retiring was in December 2012. And Hiko, you played with him way back then. And seeing him return, does that feel good?
It actually does.
Yeah.
I think his last tournament was actually ESWC. That's the last time I played him. And they actually beat us pretty badly at a very much earlier stage in the game. But yeah, I mean, back then, he was a very solid player. And I was talking to a couple of players now, and they say, playing against RPK, it's like he hasn't missed a day, which is really insane to think about it. He was out of the tournament, out of the scene for almost a year and a half, or almost 2 years, and now he's back, and now he's still on a top team. He's still showing that he's one of the greatest players in France, and yeah, I think he's going to really show this tournament.
Think he's still got some room for improvement then, Casper?
He got room for improvement for sure. He's not at his ceiling, but the thing is, he's so consistent and his aim is always on point. He's known as the tank, and that's because he's slowly moving into a target, and he's just going to aim there. He has the lowest mouse sensitivity ever, but he's going to get the kill anyways. The guy that no one talks about is Maniac, getting a lot of criticism by the public because of not getting enough kills. The thing is, you have to take everything into perspective, and getting kills is not the only thing you need to attribute with into a team. And he's a really good team player. He's so good at holding passive positions. He's so good at boosting the morale. I have a lot of respect for this guy.
Right, and that actually ties in very nicely with what I was just saying, because the problem is when Kenny was the only one doing the carrying work, then actually very often it would come down to someone like Maniac, and that's not even his role in the game.
Yeah.
But when Apex is dead and Kenny isn't hitting the shots, or he's maybe already dead, then there was really no one left before RPK joined to pick it up. Then it would have been in Maniac trying to see if he could fill that role, which is not what you're meant to do. I mean, that's what people misunderstand very often is, if ever Maniac is alone in a 1v3, then that actually means a lot of other people on Titan haven't done their jobs right, because it was never his role to be in that position anyway.
So he's the support role?
Yeah, utility role, whatever you want to call it, yeah.
He's lurking a lot. I practiced against him, and he's killing me in the back so much. Annoying.
Lauren, do you think that basically Maniac, with being the support role, when he is left in these situations which look unwinnable, which kind of maybe shed a bad light on him, that's not necessarily him that's made that happen?
No, of course not. I think everyone at a level understands that. No one's going to sit there and call these guys out consistently. However, he seemed pretty calm on stage. That's the thing I want to point out. He seemed to know that obviously there's a lot of criticism towards him. He was very vocal on Twitter about it, but he seemed level-headed. He seemed like he knew that he was coming into quite a tough matchup, but he seemed pretty calm, which is obviously a very good start for a player who just walked down a big old stage like this.
Well, I was just going to say, we actually have a player on the panel here that played that role in his own team. As like, you have to have a guy, or at least in the current metagame, you have a guy generally that if you want to sacrifice part of the team to make a certain strat work, you want this guy to be alone to pick up the rest. And I mean, Hiko, that was your call very often playing your team. So I mean, that's what it is. And Maniac isn't that person. That doesn't mean he's somehow worse than the other players in his team. It just means that some other stage in the execution of a certain strat, something will have failed if it means all of a sudden Maniac's the only one left.
And I believe it's time. We're talking about maps, talking about it being a best of one, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this one goes down. EnVyUs versus Titan. Guys, as soon as I mention maps, I'm going to come to you first, Lauren. What maps do you see being taken away? Of course, we have 3 on our screens. But
You got it on your screens, and it is the ban way of doing it, so you get left with the others. There's a lot of maps available to these guys. We were kind of discussing it earlier on. Hopefully we get confirmation. We kind of wrote out a good couple. You know, we thought Dust 2 would be removed. We thought it was too good for both, and they didn't want to risk it. However, it's open to these guys. These have to play them. They know what it's like to play against some of the best. So.
Yeah. Well, we expect kind of a couple of overpass to be removed by probably Titan, because Envy is really strong in them, but I don't think Titan is scared in that way of playing them. They could go and remove both Dust 2 and Inferno. We talked about that. Envy's obvious pick to ban would be Nuke, because Titan is so strong on that map, and their CT side could be an entire lockdown.
And we saw their Nuke in the offline qualifiers, of course, up against Copenhagen Wolves, and they didn't get a chance. The Wolves didn't get a chance to howl. They were really just taken out of that one. And so, as the vetoes have come to conclusion, if you couldn't see it on screen, guys, Cobblestone will be the very first map. That's right.
Wow.
You can see on your screens a map which has been changed around, chopped and changed, and it's really, I mean, the first person I'm going to come to, Lauren, I heard the sound you made when you saw Cobble. Is there a particular reason for that?
We literally said this is probably like the first 2 that will be taken out almost. Like, we did not expect to see this early on. Is this literally because, okay, we don't want to play on our comfort zone maps or, you know, the maps we think they're good on, so they got left on Cobble? Like, that's insane. Not leaving that in the map pool is going to change us up.
And of course, guys, we need to reiterate, the reason the system is in place, or the way the system is in place, is that each team bans out a map, or sorry, 2 maps, and then the last 3 are then randomized. And that kind of gives the best of one that kind of extra bit of a kick where you basically have to be comfortable on so very many maps. And Hiko, Cobblestone, talk to me.
So, you know, usually when you're a pro team and you're actually going to veto maps, the first thing you want to do is veto the other team's best maps. And thinking about that, that's pretty much the only way I can see Cobblestone actually being played. As Casper said, EnVyUs wouldn't want to play Titan on Nuke, and Titan probably wouldn't want to play EnVyUs on like Dust 2 or Inferno. So I would imagine both teams, you know, ban the other team's best maps, and Cobblestone was just left because that's, you know, you have to.
So like basically the teams are impartial.
Right.
I think it's time, guys, though, for a very, very short break. Time to just get ourselves ready. I know the audience is ready. We're here at the desk, very ready to see the 2 French sides butt heads, and we hope to see you guys after a very short break for Game 1 of ESL One Katowice. Hello and welcome back to the ESL One desk. It is time, it's game time, and before we jump into the action, it's time for those predictions. Casper, starting from my right and working my way back.
I expected EnVy to be the favorites for this one, and I'm still going to go with them. One thing to catch up is, really quick, that both Maniac and Apex were playing on the very successful team at ESL Cologne, who were really good at Cobblestone, which was called LDLC at the time. So they have a small advantage in that. I'm still sticking with EnVy, though.
You're the same, Hiko. I know you kind of favored EnVy. They're in your top 4. What about now?
I think I'll still give it to EnVy. Because they have multiple oppers, they have 2 or 3 people that can actually op at all times. Cbbl is one of those maps where having multiple oppers, having an opper in the back of B, having an op like push A halls or mid, it really helps lock down sites in the map. So I do think EnVy is going to win this one.
Okay, that's 2 for EnVy now on my left side. Lauren, what are you thinking?
I was thinking logically, and now it's just kind of out the window. I'm sticking with Titan just for the sake of sticking with them now, but this map has kind of just leveled the playing field, in my opinion. I think the style is still maybe in EnVy's favor at times, but I've got to stick with my guns, Titan.
And what about you, Anders? You haven't actually kind of shed any light. You said 50-50 from the start. What about now?
Right. The analysis that Hiko just gave, saying that the 2 oppers are going to be important, I've introduced every Cobblestone game with that sentence, and I've been wrong every single time. And I think the reason is because the old Cobblestone, I'm really old in 1.6, there was no middle you can jump, the drop zone where people can jump down in, but it is in Global Offensive. So actually I feel somehow, I think it is possible to lock down the CT side with 2 orbs, but I haven't seen any way it could work yet, so I'm going to go with Titan.
Okay, 2 for 2 for Titan. You know what they're thinking. Do let us know what you're thinking over at ESLCS on Twitter. Hashtag ESL One. And now it's time for the old school caster duo. It's my pleasure to introduce. It's D-Man and Tosspot.
Thank you very much, Alex. And wow, what a game to start off with. EnVy Titan on Cobblestone, a map that they have actually met once before on, back in the LDLC days at ESWC France, the only tournament there was. Of course, a couple of changes to Cobblestone and Titan since then, but it was Titan that came out on top. So let's see how this one works out. Of course, joining me is the one and only Tosspot, who has cast, I think, almost every major so far to date.
Just about.
Well, I'm just a newbie to this sort of level of your casting, but it's been 5 years since we cast together, and what a game to start with.
For those of you who don't know, Demon and I used to cast Call of Duty 4 Pro Mod. Normally there was...
Long time ago.
Yeah, normally there was a beer on the table, and, you know, there was no
I don't
suits.
know what you mean.
Yeah, well, a lot more professional these days, I assure you. Now, lots of fun to be had with this one, though. It's a hell of a game to start a tournament, first and foremost, and it's a hell of a map to start a tournament with as well, because, as the analyst test proved, they're split down the middle 2-2. EnVy were over in London this past week and chatting with
you
them.
guys, yeah.
Well, not with us per se, but mainly when there was alcohol involved, they were with us. And essentially the one thing that they took away from it was if they get out of the group stage, then they will start feeling confidence. But right now in the group stage, they do not feel confident. They know that there's an Achilles heel in it. And getting onto Cobblestone is another kind of, ace in the hole that could hurt them.
Well, I mean, it's the best of one format. And if you look at, say, the Inferno Online Pantamera tournament that happened, obviously Titan got to the finals. They played magnificently in a best of one. First day, group stage, any tournament around the world, how many times have we seen upsets happen in this format? So many big teams come and just get blown out of the water. Or you get some upsets come along, and teams like Virtus Pro last year at Katowice, and nobody had them winning it. Yet they came through, blasted everyone out of the water, and came through. I will say for this team, I mean, obviously this is, I would say globally, you kind of say the number 2 versus number 5 in the world. It's probably a fair ranking assumption for them. I really don't know how this one could go. I mean, we even just heard Hiko and Anders discussing about opening frags. Is this important? How's it going to go? I mean, yes, the pistol round is obviously a big deal, especially on Cobblestone, especially on the T side. But how can we rank it now? Because there's been changes to the map. Things have been tweaked. Is it now easier for the T side? I mean, well, it's not quite maybe on Nuke's level, I don't think, but I think it's got better.
What's weird is we're not referring to EnVy as the reigning major champions.
Yeah, which is weird.
Doubt.
I mean, that was 5 months ago.
And then they went to Aspen and they won again.
Yeah.
What has changed between the old days of NIP versus Verigame is NIP with the big game players at that point. This collection of French stars are now big game players, big day players. So I find it surprising, and even though talking with the players or the analysts, we do have that air of doubt about this team, simply because anyone can still beat anyone.
And it's funny because if you look at the last major back at DreamHack Winter, there's a lot of similarities. Like Fnatic were winning a lot of the online tournaments. Everybody had them as massive favorites, yet EnVy, of course, came through. Yes, there was a few issues in there, but NIP again got to the final. Are they going to be here again? I mean, there's so many different things. This tournament has so much potential, and this is just game one of the day. We've got 9 games today, so it is going to be a very busy one for everyone involved, all the teams. Everybody is prepping themselves. The warm-up area is completely full of players right now. They're all getting... In fact, the other match is also going on as well, which we're going to try to keep you up to date on what is going on in that one. Of course, that's taking place off stage. It's 16 teams, so unfortunately we can't get them all on stage. It's a shame. I know I definitely would like to get them all on stage. We're just waiting for the guys to set up. Obviously, there's a lot of warm-up going on. You saw the veto process go on there. Let's go back through, actually, the veto process, because we were kind of surprised that Cbbl actually got through. But in fairness to Titan, if you were to look at the maps they got rid of, Dust 2, well, you could probably say EnVy are the best team in the world on Dust 2. In fact, their record kind of shows that they are. I think they're 27-5 or something like that in the last 6 months or something crazy like that. So that's a map you've got to take away from them. Kind of expected cash, though.
Well, what's interesting against that EnVy lineup is there's enough talent in there for any map to be an okay map.
Yeah.
And we have a large map pool. It's not acceptable to say anymore, well, these are our home maps. That mentality has to go with such a large map pool in a best-of-1 format, and it had to go a long time ago. What's interesting, though, playing against it is you either play to your strengths or you play to your opponent's weaknesses. On Titan with Kenny, and particularly if you look at his stats that he's running with right now, this is a map that Kenny can influence.
Well, I mean, I had the pleasure, obviously, being here just, 3 weeks ago, I think it was, in the offline qualifiers. And game one of the day didn't go great for them. Quadruple overtime, 28-24 against Peter. And, you know, it's funny because I was casting with Anders at the time, and they were just literally where the camera is from us right now. They were probably 5-10 feet max away from us. And we were like, we're going to probably struggle in this one because they're a loud team. French teams generally are. Like, I expect both of them to be on that stage pretty loud. But they were quiet. It was game one of the day, and they suddenly come up against Peter, and things don't start well. And first game of the day, yes, they've warmed up, but you're not match ready. Match fitness, I guess you could say, if you were talking football terms. But it's a real tricky situation. They've been here for, I'd probably say, about an hour. Hours sat on that stage, setting themselves up. I mean, the nerves are building. They've been taking pictures with fans, enjoying themselves. You can see it's a pretty packed house here, which is surprising for 1 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. But you guys have filled the house pretty well. And it's really going to be interesting to see how these teams turn up, how game one of the day goes, how that man on your screen, Kenny S, will he turn up once again? Because his stats right now are absolutely incredible. In 2015 alone, he is like blitzkrieging everyone. It's really impressive. And talking to him just 3 weeks ago, and he was saying, you know, everybody says, I am the team, you know, Kenny S, Titan S, effectively. But he's like, I find it unfair because I can't do what I do without the rest of the team. Like, if Apex wasn't creating this situation, or if Existence wasn't calling the team to get in this position so Kenny could make this shot, he was just like, it's just not fair. And talking about Existence, I mean, he is up against Happy, who himself is, I believe, the highest KDA, the highest rating of all shot callers in CSGO right now. He really is performing outstandingly well.
And Happy is a great comparison between 12 months ago.
Yeah.
You look at his trajectory over the past 12 months, and it's a joy to watch how he has evolved. Anyway, we're underway. D-Man, take us away for the pistol round.
Yeah, I'm hoping he is the pistol, not a knife. They're going to go straight in there. Maniac immediately on shock, going down long A. And this, I believe, is the opener. Of course, they did have the highest seed, chose the side, which, no doubt about it, EnVy, of course, chose that CT side. It's the strongest side on this map. MBK, though, trying to stop this push on towards A doors. They are going to shut down Existence, and this is looking like Titan are running into a strong force of EnVy.
Yeah, 4 men waiting in line for them, just lining up the shots towards Kenny S, who's the one doing most of the return fire. But frags traded, and it'll be Titan who come out on top with Apex and RPK both in. Smith and MBK out, and this is the opportunity. Oh, sniped off by Happy, who we were just talking about, a player in real form. And that's a hat-trick to close out the pistol round, and EnVy to calm their nerves.
That is exactly the start you need on the CT side. You're just going to shut down your opponent instantly in a map that's already very tricky to clock those rounds upon the T side. And with Happy, the man, that honestly confidence will just be oozing from him now. Calling those shots, getting in position. And that was a fast rotate, actually. We didn't quite catch the start of it. We did see, obviously, the push coming down long A, but they were fast to react. And Titan were a little slow to get in on the site here, and we're going to see possibly a second setup this time around, though. Happy already on the M4 in round 2.
Interesting to analyze that, actually. Had they got that call wrong, because first frag came into long A and they instantly overloaded the site. Had they got that call wrong, the retake over on the B site would have been something to watch. But regardless, slither of damage and all the damage done to Shox as he is picked off. What will they do to follow this up? Existence is lying in wait. And we see that the Envy side have no idea right now where Titan are moving to.
Nobody showing signs just yet. Everybody nervously throwing out those flashes. Only one grenade left, actually, MBK. So we'll see where that goes. Of course, those 3 Tech-9s can create a lot of damage. Everybody on Titan with that armor as well. So this is a pretty heavily invested second round from Titan. Happy, though, is going to spot them just coming up the ramp, which means the call will come out. The rotation not coming just yet from Envy, but you can see Titan starting to move into position. Oh, that's not what I want to see. That's for sure. Existence trying to creep his way in there, but...
On the other side, we can see that frags off camera are going on. It's going to be 3 frags to Titan. And losing out is just Smiths on a 1v4 after plant. And here he is. Now we're back with him. And he has a job that he doesn't fancy. And we'll take that Famous and get out. What's interesting there from Titan was they didn't commit to that A site until there were 30 seconds left on the clock. Team Envy had no one out feeling because they lost that opening frag. They could not risk a single, scouting player. And so what they had to do in the end was sit back deep in both sites. And that gave them no knowledge. And that allowed Titan to strike on that A site.
Nobody's actually managed to pick up that M4 yet. Let's see whether it was Happy that had it. I'm trying to see whether anyone's going to find that. See if they've not been able to get it, or it's a position they couldn't find. Smith does get himself an exit kill there. They'll be happy with that, but less than happy with the second match. And this is something we saw in the offline qualifiers, and actually a lot of the tournaments that have been happening lately. That second round, it is such a big deal. And we saw Titan, they invested heavily, they got those Tech-9s, they got that armor, and it's put that round on the board. MBK, though, he's got that shotgun. We'll see how he makes use of it, a couple of CZs, but this is surely Titan's round to win. They are pushing heavily along that long A. You can see the bomb. Is it going to make its way down ramp? Happy just waiting with that drop. He's going to try and boost up, try and get himself a peak existence. You can see with the X-ray on is nearby. I think he just got a glimpse of him. Gets a good tag and the frag. Existence down, and Happy opens things up.
Nice work. Maniac follows up with the revenge as we go to 4-4. And Shox is coming straight around the corner, and RPK showing no signs of rustiness, picking up his second frag in 3 rounds, will lead that Titan assault as it begins to make its way up through the ramp. And Kenny's gone a long way across long A and is right in the A site, taking on MBK any second now. And it'll be Kenny who gets that frag onto Smiths.
Really wants to try and get up close, get that surprise factor, but they're not falling for it. You can see the molly going into the corner. He might just be able to surprise one. Is it going to be enough? He will take Kenny S down. Pops around the corner, doesn't get the second. RPK will take him out there. Koyashima, the last man standing, trying to push in. RPK only on 4 health. He could land this frag. Doesn't quite catch him. Chases him around the corner. Will pop around. That 5-7 should be enough. Will get the shot, but Maniac gets the revenge. And it is this 2-1 for Titan.
Really nice play there from RPK. Knew exactly how many points of health he didn't have, and basically was, I shall be the bait. Give me just a few seconds to get my teammate in here to help me out, and then I will bait you all day long. Nice play, and Happy there. You see the highest KDA from all the team leaders, and that's an interesting stat because so often the leader, the captain, sacrifices a bit of his talent to be the voice of the team.
Yeah, 1.19, I think it was. It's incredible. I was talking about it earlier, but once again, we have Titan. It looks like it's going to be another A push. We can see there is a bit of probing going on over at B, though, but Apex comes in. Can he get that opening frag? Oh, Shox on so little health, but they will get the shot in. He gets himself a second. Kenny S goes down, and that attack has been stopped dead. RPK, the tank, can he make his way through? He could be 2 quick, easy frags, but Shox gets himself a third. My God, Envy are just stopping them dead at A.
We're going to go tit for tat in rounds here if Titan can't do anything about it, as Existence knows that he has a bomb to recollect. Interestingly, the Titan players have gone searching for frag number 4, which is Shox's 4th as well, and he has just Existence left. He's coming around, and he may well be on for this ace here. Shox pushing in now. Oh, his distance escapes.
Well, Happy, he's running straight into his hands. That pistol will be enough. And just like that, a 4K for Shox, and Happy win cleanup duty. And Envy stop that attack dead for Titan there. That was really, I mean, Shox on the pistol with that 5-7 just boosted on the box. That's all he needed to stop that long A push, which Titan had done every single round in fairness to them. So they were sat ready and waiting for it. Let's see whether Titan adjust, of course. They have got that AWP now in KennyS's hands. Let's see if he can make use of it.
Yeah, we've traded round for round thus far. No one really able to take initiative, and I think the uncertainty will favor Titan at the moment. As by Apex. Just poking long A. This is where it all went wrong for Titan last time around, and Happy is joined by Shox, and the pair of them are more than welcoming with those two AKs trained on what's about to be the assault from KennyS, and that AWP not doing this time. He can't catch a sliver.
Just all he will know. He knows someone's trapped into that corner. Shox is pinned. That grenade would have been spotted. KennyS holding the angle, and they're just going to wait for this one. They've got Tech9s, remember, just rushing straight in there, so they could pop around that corner, but they're still laying in wait. 3 members of Envy are sat ready. KennyS being patient. Instead, he's going to try and push forward, but Happy is there, and that will get one down. Can he get the second? Existence will drop, and just like that, the Happy and Shox show manages to take down the entire Titan team.
So what I was watching on the other side was Maniac, because once you knew everyone was in long A, what was Maniac going to do at B? Could he mix it up? Could he draw out any of those players and put a seed of doubt into Envy? In the end, he couldn't. He did isolate 2 players out there, but wasn't able to actually change the perception of Team EnVy as to where that attack was coming. Anyway.
Full eco coming out from Titan this time around. Of course, as we said, there's just that one Deagle in there. Apex has picked that one up. Let's see if he can try and get some long openers on there. He's trying to land it on Shox. Doesn't manage to get too much in. Just one shot going on. Wasn't the same though. Shox didn't get a reply on Apex, which you would expect. Maybe a little bit of nerves there with that AK-47 early on. Stolen out of the hands. Maniac trying to create something, force somebody to show around drop, but MBK not falling for it. Kayoshima holding that angle. Boosted on Smith's head there. Smith's just, it's all right, just chilling down the bottom there. He's got to take his time. Let's see. It's going to be an A push once again. This has been the 6th round running, actually. They forced this A push, not choosing to go towards B. Apex looking to get those openers, but MBK is in position ready. The rest of Titan, they're going to try and push on through with these pistols. Can they work?
All day long, Happy is going to mow them down with the help of Shox. They have now just RPK to find, and RPK does start with Plum as he headshots down Happy, but will go no further than that. And Envy get away with 3 men left standing at the end of that round. 4-2, looking good for Envy at the moment as they finally build a little bit of a lead, but Titan have proved that they can snatch things back. Time for a mix-up, though. Time to say, Long A, you've served your purpose. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah, Shox actually with the AWP as well for Envy. We are seeing KennyS this time around. Not successful in his first attempt over on Long A, but it is a full buy. No armor for Maniac, but Shox with that AWP will find Apex. That is the opening frag they absolutely wanted. Does back away. And that's going to give pause for thought for Titan here to see if they can try to create an opening.
And look at Shox. He just peeked himself out, found himself the frag, and then has retreated all the way back. The Titan side now don't need to move. And sorry, the Envy side don't need to move. They're sat with Happy pushed up on mid. Shox and here have control of A, and then Kiyoshima and Smith deep with the help of MBK over on that B site, which is where this assault is going to make its way.
This is their first B push as well. We'll see if it's successful. Kayoshima is holding the angle. Smith's getting ready to move. KennyS just looking to see if he can create any opportunities. We can see in the X-ray, of course, there is one just around the corner. Kayoshima peeks out just at the right time. Maniac does get the revenge. That is the AWP down. We see Existence picking it up, switching it out. Smoke's going out. It's a B push. They're going in.
Here we go, Maniac leading the charge for Titan, but that trading KennyS is not acceptable, and Maniac is going to follow suit as MBK picks himself up that frag. He's had a difficult round to try and get into here, but he's going to see all the action now. RPK will follow suit. NBK goes 2 for 1, and the third frag comes in from Smiths. But it was that second frag. When Shox opened up on the fragging, great, but 4v5 they can still do. But trading Kiyoshima for Kenny S with that AWP in the position to open things up was something EnVy were always going to be happy to do.
Absolutely, you can see his stats. That's across all majors, just 1.6. But look at that, 2015, he has been on fire. Let's see if he can light up a little bit in this game. He is currently top of the board for Titan, but we've yet to see him land one of those AWP frags that he's so well known for. It's going to be a fast push, but that grenade should do a lot of damage. Happy with the AK, they're just running straight into him. It's just going to mow them all down. And that is the bomb covered off. This should be a safe round for EnVy. Just Kenny S remaining with that Tech 9.
Yeah, the opening 4 rounds looked like we were just going to have one of those real slobber knocker matches. In the end, what seems to be the case here is EnVy have gotten into a bit of a groove, and big players on that Titan side are really struggling to show. Kenny S has been isolated out of this game thus far.
Happy with a 4K, but you know, when there's pistols running straight at you on the ramp, it's a nice one to get. You can see, look, that stat padded him nicely now at the top of that board, but it's definitely working out well for EnVy. But let's not write Titan off just yet. This is Cobblestone, remember. This is a heavily CT-sided map, so everything could easily change should Titan get a couple more rounds on the board. We do see a Cbbl coming out this time from Existence. Everybody else on AKs. Everybody with head armor as well. So this is a heavily invested round from Titan. A lot of smokes, flashes, even a couple of mollies in there as well. So it's going to be an A push. I feel they're going to try and burn them out over this long A, which has not been too successful outside of those opening few rounds, and it's because of this man on your screen. Shox doesn't land the opening shot this time with that AWP, but he has been defending that long A site very well alongside Happy.
This is the assault that we've needed to see from Titan. They get 3 players coming out towards B main area, and once they get here, they can't go any further. They get isolated, and they're waiting for something to happen. It's going to be Apex and RPK going A to try and pull out other players. That'll unleash these 3. NBK lying in wait, and he'll be the one to see action. First frag goes the way of Existence. NBK down and out for the count. On the other side in that A site, RPK has got himself the frag onto Happy. Shox out as well, and this is going right to plan for Titan. They're 2 men to the good. Smiths and Kiyoshima looking to hold on. Maniac waiting for someone to come around the back. It's going to be Kiyoshima, and Maniac will just about get there. Smith's last man standing, 1 on 3.
Can he do it? This is a big ass. Existence is low. RPK just peeking around, but Kenny now has that AWP. Not what you need. And that is his first AWP frag of the game on Smiths. And somewhat an unorthodox approach from Titan, sneaking around the window there, especially with NBK. Maybe spent a little too long trying to toss that molly out. Maybe if it had his gun in hand, but you never know. It was definitely the right tactic. Burn them out in that drop, but 6-3 now to Titan. Titan, again, fully bought up, as you'd expect after winning that one. We are going to see Shox again with the AWP in hand. Let's see how it works out against Kenny S.
Variation played through for Titan that time, and Kenny S may now have what he needs to influence. Shox naded out, holds firm, waiting to see someone come around the corner. That was his chance. And Apex escapes. Now they know he's there, and he'll have to retreat.
Positional change as well for Shox and Happy here. They haven't got long A covered at all, which has given Titan the advantage. You can see the bomb already moving up fast with Apex straight in towards that long A site. They will know that they are coming, though. You can see Happy. He's already got himself hidden away in that cubby, ready and waiting for someone to pop around that corner.
Kenny, yes, coming towards him. These are the 2 heavy hitters right now, the 2 form players. We go head to head, and it'll be Apex who says, you go first, it's okay. Happy finds the first frag. Must have heard Kenny. The nade comes in, Happy stands firm again, and now will try to escape out of there. Uses the flash to go through, and Kenny at point blank just comes out on top of Happy, but it's cost him a lot of health.
He ran out of bullets. He ran that simple as it was. If he'd have added 4A4, he would have worked, but he wouldn't have been as stealthy. Existence gets himself 1 on Smiths. NBK taking down Maniac as well, but Existence not going to work out. Kiyoshima will shut him down, and suddenly EnVy, with the help of Happy in the smoke, are looking so good. Kenny S is still alive. Is he going to choose to just back away and save these weapons? I'm not too sure. Regrouping. I think it may well be a change of heart here. You can see RPK could make the move. Don't have the time. Can they hold on? Kiyoshima is looking. He's hunting, but I don't think he's going to find anyone. And Titan, well, oh no, Kenny!
Oh, big frag.
Shox finds him. That is a big, big frag, getting that AWP out of his hand.
Massive opportunity there, and Shox took it. Dispatches of the AWP, and look at the money left on that side. It's a different round if Kenny S escapes from that round with the AWP. They can use him to hold down, to create enough damage in one site for the rest to try and rush something, but without it, they can't. So awesome play after the clock down there, and EnVy 7-3 to the go.
Shox once again down in this ramp position, does get a sniff of RPK, does see that grenade coming down, but doesn't land the shot. And again, we see Titan trying to work this opening. Apex the man, pushing along long A this time, but no Happy to stop him this time around. Can he get himself in a position that could make a difference? Shox could actually get him on the side of him. Happy will come through. That's one down. Shox knows his position, but now he's up against an M4 and not a Tech 9. And this is not the place to be for an AWP. And Apex will get himself a second. And just like that, EnVy will open wide.
There was no need for EnVy to come that aggressive against one AK. A little lost as to why they did it. Now they're up against 3 weapons, and one of them is an AWP in the hands of Kenny S, and he knows how to use it. Dispatches of MBK.
But look at this, a positional change. It draws all of EnVy over to A, and Titan creep along in towards the B site. It is going to be 8 seconds for Smith to get there. You can see, is he going to be quick enough? I'm not sure. Existence, they are creeping. They're going without a call. Smith seems to suspect, and now he sees it. He will get the bomb carrier. Maniac goes down, but he's up against 3 members, gets himself a second. Apex down. Katowice now in a 1-on-3, seemingly an impossible task as he tosses out the flash. Will try and get Kenny S down. Can he make it? Existence and RPK holding steady. Bomb plants in. Time against him, but he gets the incendiary down.
Here we go. Katowice gunning for the ace. Has little time to make it count, and Existence and RPK will close it out. Almost from Keo, picks up the 3. 7-4 the score on the board, and to go back to the positioning on that A site, Shox pushed all the way up into ladder room, super aggressive, and then Happy just ran straight into it as he tried to cover down the long A. Just, there was no need for that level of aggression against no weapons.
Yeah,
However.
of course, with, like you say, that Happy, as soon as he lost that M4, it put Apex in a really uncomfortable position. Those Tech 9s can be deadly. Happy this time around covering off that top long A. Shox will rotate once again, actually. He is going to go back down in towards this ramp. It hasn't been too successful for him yet, covering off the toxic approach, but instead Apex, you know, making his way through. He has definitely been the difference on this long A site. Let's see if he can find another.
Yeah, Shox was at his most effective, just peeking his head out, finding a frag and retreating, getting a tad bit of information in the process if he didn't get a kill. When he's in ramp room, that's a lot harder to do, unless they're at the top of the ramp. Now he gets his opportunity, and Kenny S reminds us all what he's capable of. Happy will return the favor onto Apex, but Kenny S still going strong, looking for frag number 2, gets it, and this is Titan really in the driving seat in this round, and the wind beginning to fill their sails.
4-3 advantage. They do manage to push through. Maniac gets himself another. And now it is just Katowice and MBK to clean things up. The bomb was loose, but RPK quickly puts pate to that. And MBK, now the last man standing, hiding out on the A site, trying to keep hold of his weapon. But I'm not too sure we're going to see Titan allow this one. You can already see Existence and Maniac on the hunt, trying to take that weapon out of his hand. He's managed to rescue himself an AWP, but look, Kenny S is going to see him as soon as he comes into the open.
MBK. You wouldn't want to be him right now.
No. I mean, maybe, just maybe, he could get one of those. Oh, that's going to give his position away. As soon as he rattles that shot off, he's waiting. He finds Maniac. He's like, come and get me. This could suddenly get costly if it works out for him. MBK, of course, former AWPer many, many moons ago. That was a role he's given up in the days of EnVy. Finds the feet of Existence, doesn't quite get it down. Existence will chase him out. And that is another round on the board for Titan. They are making it work for them. 5 rounds on Cobblestone is a very good start for Titan.
Yeah, really nice start from Titan. Coming back, remember, they've 3 in a row. It was 7-2 at one point, and the half looked like it could slip away from them. No longer the case, and Titan are back in this one with a bang. Has a big part to play with the role that Kenny S has been able to get comfortable with that AWP. Definitely feel that also in the, I guess you could call the second half of this first half, they've mixed up the strategies. They've shown something a little bit different. Long A is now just a means to an end, which could be B as well. We'll see, though. They're going long A, and they're going to run into trouble.
This is what worked out well for Shox last time around. He is going to get another one. Gets down Kenny S and Apex as well. Shox is on fire. RPK does manage to shut him down on that long A. It seems to work better with pistols. Like maybe he should stick with it. But at the moment, we do see Maniac. He's making his way through onto site. Smith's trying to hide out, but that molly will find him. That's going to burn him out there in existence. Will force him away. Kayoshima and Happy. Happy needs to rotate. He's coming around with that ult, but he's going to be a little bit too late to the party as Maniac gets himself one. It's now in a 2-on-1 situation. It's possible if he lands the opening frag.
With the second opportunity, can't quite get there. Will now push up on existence. Connects with the headshot. Awesome play from Happy. Can he finish off the job? No! Maniac picks up the round. It is 7-6. EnVy's lead has been eroded.
Fantastic performance so far. Just looking across the board, looking at the frags, Happy is miles away from his team. He's really stepping up on the board. You could say the same for really anyone. I mean, Shox is also in there, of course. I think probably 5 or 6 of those are with pistols so far as well.
To jump back to that earlier point, Long A right now is just the opening salvo. First, again, they went into Long A in that last round, but the match ended up on B. And that's what's changed. That's what's turned 7-2 into 7-6.
Yeah, and they are really starting to make it count. Full buy, though, from Team EnVy. You can see all the flashes. They've got the rifles, so this is a round they absolutely need to pick up here to really have a hope, because 6 rounds on Cobblestone as the T side is a very, very good start to the day for Titan, no doubt about it. And they have to be careful. That molly is going to find its target. That's MBK not quite burning out, just steps back from that one. He knows that existence is coming. Pops himself out, flashes, goes down. There is 2 ready and waiting for him. MBK will find a head. Smith gets the second, and just like that, the B push is stopped in its tracks. Kenny S is going to try and take a peek, but everybody's already backed away.
Kenny S a little late for that party as Smith fires off in towards the smoke. Apex and Kenny looking to navigate their way into what was MBK territory. They lose RPK on the other side. Those two now having to go for broke on their own. Don't have much knowledge of where the incoming CTs are coming from. And Happy dispatches of Apex. It leaves Kenny all on his own. And he'll go no further. EnVy picking up their first round in 5.
Yeah, absolutely. A much-needed round for them as well. They'd invested in it. Now we see the AWP coming out. Happy is going to have that one. And we'll see how it switches up. Of course, Shox this time with the AK. So changing out the long A approach between the two players. Happy, 19 frags to his name so far. Of course, let's not count 5 of those. They were an eco rush straight into his AK-47. So it's still nonetheless, you've got to land those frags. And let's see if it works out for him. He is going to be covering off long A, but it doesn't look like Titan are interested this time around.
And that's the strength and depth that this team have with his AWPing abilities. And he just pokes his head out, connects onto RPK. More importantly, he says, I saw absolutely no one in mid. And I killed the only guy that was there. Which tells the remainder of his players that the B push is real.
Bomb already in position. There go the set smokes. Everything moving into place, but Kayoshima just rattling those shots through the smoke. Will he manage to get another one? Just going to fire off a couple of free shots. Doesn't quite land the Maniac. They're going to try and rotate, but Happy tries to sneak around the back, and that's now giving up that AWP. And that may well be a big mistake for EnVy.
Maniac double frag. Kiyoshima and Smith both dispatched. Maniac has control of the B-bomb site momentarily as MBK gets off the job. And now we have 2 players left standing. Shox is alert to the fact that Apex and Existence may have been pushing all the way around towards B, but they doubled back, and now they're going to single out MBK for special treatment over on that B site.
Shox is making the move. He realizes it's happening. MBK's called for backup. Will he get it in time? Or will it even matter? Because MBK just finds Existence, gets himself Apex down, and well, just like that, MBK holds steady from what could have been a really topsy-turvy round for EnVy. They got that opening frag. They absolutely had to pick up that round.
MBK at the end there, he was sandwiched. Luckily, he got the move on them quickly, but it's not luck. That's his movement. He knew when to go. And in the words of Andy Gray, take a bow, son. He won that round singly for them at the end there. Great play. 9-6 halftime.
9-6 half time. Is it a good half? That's the question for Envy. It's going to be playing in their minds. This pistol round, this opening start to the second half is going to be vital. Now, if you cast your minds back, it was actually Titan that lost the pistol, but got the second round. So is it that important? I mean, this is something they were talking about. You know, Hiko and Anders were having that discussion on the desk, and seemingly so. You know, if you can invest well in the right place and catch the right person, it can turn around quickly.
Look at that scoreboard. Top fraggers on both sides are probably exactly the names you would have picked out at the at the start of the game. Happy and Kenny S living up to form.
But more importantly, Maniac is performing. That's what, you know, he was the guy that everybody was singling out, and he was pretty vocal after Katowice, the offline qualifiers, in saying, you know, this is getting to me. The amount of feedback that he's getting is like, this does affect you. Well, feedback is one clean way of calling it, but he was getting definitely flamed pretty hard. But he's performing. He's doing well. He's been picking up a lot of the end kills as well in these rounds. We'll see how it works out. Though, of course, the teams will have quick discussions between the halves, get themselves ready for what could be a massive second half. Of course, it's not only obviously a place going through to the winner bracket, it's French pride on the line here, no doubt about it.
Yes, the guys from Vacom were here at the beginning of the map getting there, and right there now. This is a grudge match of all grudge matches. I mean, what's interesting to think about, go back, 6 months ago after what was called the French Revolution, these three teams, and picking the picking a winner out of those three was impossible at that point. Now, Envy have made it look relatively easy.
Well, we'll see about that. Titan definitely have other ideas, because we are underway, ladies and gentlemen. Second half of the map. First game of the day here at ESL One Katowice, the first major of 2015. And currently Envy, who are one of the favorites for this tournament, are having a bit of a torrid time against Titan.
Massive round this if Titan are to claw their way back into this game. Apex is going to be the man to see action. Deep in the A side, he and Kenny S going to see action. Shocks. He's going to bring the action. Frags Apex. Maniac down as well. This all off camera as Maniac returns the favor and Happy goes down. So go frag for frag. Kiyoshima going to lead that assault as Envy are ready to push over to B.
Yeah, Maniac actually got the one in drop, and then they've immediately rotated, but you can see Envy, bit of counter rotation play as well. Shocks, and that's going to just completely throw them, because now he's landed that frag. That's going to keep Envy in position. We can see it's Kenny S that's actually going to be the one, I think. I'm just going to have a peek across. It is RPK, actually. The one man that's across on his own. Existence going to sneak around the back. Will find Apex. Doesn't get the kill. RPK will shut down MBK. Kenny S replies. Now they have to make tracks, because B is the site they're pushing on. The bomb plant is going in. And now it's a 2-on-2.
Keo and Smiths versus Kenny S and Existence for the round and for the opening salvo in this second half. Existence leads the charge. One to his left, one to his right. They've shown, and Existence gets the first frag. It's Smiths that goes down. Now they'll move in and sandwich down the last man. Kiyoshima picks up the first frag, has only 40% of health versus Kenny 70, but it will be enough. Kiyoshima saves the round, and for 2 rounds in a row, and a 2-on-2 with Team Envy has seen one man do it all.
And look at that. That's his 7th 1v2 clutch in 2015. He's a man to have. And honestly, I'm not even sure whether the bomb time, I think the bomb time was already gone too far, but when you come out of a clutch on that, the confidence boost that's going to give to the team, just like that, they already get that opening T side on the board for Envy. And now you can see the Gilleals are out. There's an AK in Kayoshima's hand, the man that just single-handedly took that round, but Kenny S tries to rattle a couple of pistol shots, doesn't quite get the kill on Kenny S, but it will take him low enough to back away.
They retreat out of harm's way. Maniac sporting the scout this round for Titan as they look to use him to hold down this B site. I thought they would have loaded up A a little more as a result, but hasn't happened, and Team Envy knowing that with the weapon advantage they can afford to just be a little more patient.
Yeah, using that CZ as well just to follow up the drop. Like the place, it's actually been probed and poked, but you can see, certainly on our screens, NBK, Smiths and Kayashima making their way straight up the ramp instead. Existence does go down from afar, and now Just like that, Envy are all over the A side. KNES comes around the side, gets himself one. Can he get a second? Kayashima is low. NBK are in the open, will manage to get himself a second. And just like that, it's a 4-on-1. And that one scout that they had is all that now remains for Titan.
Textbook play from Envy there. Waited and took the opportunity as it presented themselves. They still have 4 men up, albeit 3 of them on semi-low health. And Maniac left very lonely with perhaps not exactly the weapon he'll want. He will get the opportunity to exact some French revenge. As Maniac gets himself the knife frag, will know that he can't get the defuse, but will...
He's going to certainly make it expensive. Yeah, definitely making it count that. And you did wonder, Shox was the last man. He was going to try and stick around. Tries to get himself a rifle. May get a third here. Oh, Happy just at the end. Shuts down what could have been a magnificent end for Maniac. But it is the 11th round on the board for Envy. They are starting to clock them up with just 5 to go now to make it through to that winner bracket. It's starting to look good on the T side.
At the end of that round, there were exactly 9 points of health between the 2 Envy players that were left alive. Happy 22 frags on the board, though, is really setting the agenda. Break 30 before the map is out.
Well, you can see, of course, Titan have tried to stack out the A side, expecting another A push. They are on the full eco. Just those P250. It's not going to work out, though. It was the B push where they should have been defending, but instead, that grenade is going to do a lot of damage here, and Happy should get himself another hatful of frags here. Straight through the doors. No doubt about it. No armor to stop that AK-47 ripping through them. Existence with a long-range pistol and MBK. He tries to turn it into a second, but the bomb plant is already in. And Apex now just the last man standing with a P250 cartel, which Anders, of course, will be happy to see.
Going to be 12-6 for Team Envy now, and they very much in the driving seat. Titan haven't been able to get their CT side really going thus far, and this will be their opportunity for a buy round and their opportunity to really show us what they're made of. They don't have much of a cushion left. If they were to lose this and then be back on a save, they'd be staring down 14. So big round for Titan here. They must pick this up.
Absolutely. So here we go. Full investment. AWP for KNES. That's what we'd expect. But I believe it's a glass cannon. I'm not seeing any armor coming in for him. M4s for the rest of Titan. And quite a full assortment of grenades, but they will start things off. AKs, of course, all across the board, apart from actually one Galil being hung on to by MBK. So we'll see whether that plays into maybe saving for that for his team. But 12-6 is the score, and Titan need to get themselves one on the board here.
Going to be Envy just prowling for the walls area as they look to take control of it, and RPK will fall back onto that bomb site. He's going to see a lot of action any moment now, and Existence will be there to help him out. Slowly does it for Envy. Nading out and ready to open up the flashes in towards that B side. It will be now that Envy make their assault.
Go on the minute mark. Out go the smokes, out go the flashes. RPK just hiding behind that fountain, hoping that he gets support. Existence is there. Kayashima will go down. RPK unseen so far, just hiding, lurking around that smoke. Will get himself the bomb carrier down, but MBK quickly gets the revenge. Happy cut off on the side there. And just like that, Smith is the last man standing. Will get himself a second though. He's not done yet. He got the bomb plants in. Not quite. Tried to get it down. And now a big round, honestly, for Titan. They had to pick that one up, and a quick rotation, no doubt about it, from them. As soon as they saw that molly come out, they quick rotate, and they got themselves into position. They did lose the AWP, but Kenny manages to retrieve it just towards the end.
Yeah, they seemed to know exactly what was coming the moment they saw that first assault, and got over towards B and defended very well. We decided that was a must-win round for Titan. They did exactly that. Mixed bag of tricks coming from Team Envy in this round as a result. And they're going to try that, or something similar, once again. Yeah,
complete contrast to play, honestly, what we saw at Titan. We saw them pushing that long A site round after round, but this time Envy very clear in what their objective is. Just keep on stacking out. Oh, that grenade is really going to find its target. Oh, I think it actually just pitted between about 3 of them there. It doesn't matter. It is going to be MBK pushing straight through. Envy on site already. Kenny S already down to 10 health, trying to hold out in that smoke. Not going to quite land the shot. He's going to get point blank. Gets himself one on Shocks, but Apex is not done. He keeps around. Smiths is low. And this should be Titan cleaning up, but no, Maniac suddenly the last man standing.
2-on-1, Maniac going to have to bail out this Titan side from losing around against a weapon-deficient Team Envy. But the bomb isolated over on that B site. MBK picked up, but Maniac delivers the 2. And he reminds everyone exactly what he's capable of. Lovely play from Maniac to close out that round and save it for Titan, who are now 2 in a row.
Absolutely stepping up for his team on the CT side, and now the top fragger for Titan as well. Fantastic performance for them so far. Here we go. Titan, what are they going to do? They're going up against pretty much an eco coming out from Envy here. We do see those Tech 9s, a couple of CZs, but it is going to be a fast move into B.
Here we go. RPK will lie in wait. His nade does do damage to Kiyoshima and Shocks, and they will then come looking for vengeance, but RPK will open up with the first. Should be able to buy enough time for the cavalry to come in with the help of Existence and Maniac. They close out this round. That will be 12-9. This is a very close one. Over on the other match being played right now, LGB lead Penta by 10 rounds to 2 on just 2.
Yeah, solid start from LGB. Really working out well. Of course, remember, the winner of that match will face the winner of this match here on the stage as soon as this one concludes. Currently, it is Envy 12-9 up, but Titan picking up now 3 rounds back-to-back. Are starting to get themselves some momentum here, and that's exactly what you need on the CT side of Cbbl. We've seen a change, though. Envy switching things up, running fast through the ramp.
MBK leading that assault as he will go head-to-head against Kenny. And Maniac and Apex help themselves to the frags, and Titan are down quickly as Shocks is left alone. He gets the first, gets the second and the third. Will he get it all? No, he won't, as that hat-trick is stopped in its tracks, and Titan pull us back to a 2-round game.
It's quite ironic, really, that Kenny happened to have an M4 and not an AWP in his hand. Up close range, gets himself a stack there and sets it up nicely. Instead, that AWP didn't quite work out. So, Titan now clawing back the lead that Envy built up, of course, over on the CT side. It was 9-6 the first half, but now with 4 rounds back-to-back for Titan, they keep on going. And another pistol rush coming out from Envy straight into that ramp. Looks like it's going to get shut down clean by Apex. Gets himself 4. The 5th will elude him, though, because it looks like Maniac will take that one. And a simple round for Titan.
Lovely play from Titan in the past 5 now to pull this one right back. Nerves will be very fresh for both teams. All of Envy's confidence will have been eaten away from them. And it's now time for Envy to remind us why they are the reigning major champions.
Yeah, and it's something, if you just think back 2 rounds when they did run straight through with the ramps, they had AKs. That was an invested round. It didn't work out for them. They tried the fast play, and Titan were very much ready for them. So it seems Envy are just a little caught in themselves. Shocks saw the pixels. We can see it quite clearly, of course, with the X-ray, but all he gets is a little flash of pixelation difference. But going back to my point, Envy, they seem a little caught in their ways. They're not really sure. Like, the B push wasn't really working for them. They tried 2 fast A pushes. That didn't work. Now they're going to try to slow things down, and it looks like it's going to be a bit of a prod and push towards the B site once again. Happy smoked out currently in that drop site. We'll try and work through. MBK is going to be alongside him. But you can already see, certainly with the addition of X-Ray, that Titan are very much ready for this.
Yeah, the problem is that they wanted to go A, and not being able to isolate Kenny, you just don't want to take that risk. So they have had to make this push, and now we're going to see whether it can work for them. And they need to get Shocks in a good position with that AWP to open up this B site. And that's going to be pretty challenging when Existence is laying down the fire. Oh. 3 frags for him, and 2.5. And Maniac comes in, and that will be 6 straight rounds, 12-12, tie game. Titan looking good.
Wow, this is nerve time for Envy. They lose the opening match against their rivals, their French compatriots, Titan, who honestly are starting to look a little unstoppable on their CT side, really setting up a good defense. We talked about 9-6 the first half. It was a very good T side from the Titan guys. And now, it's not even the Kenny S show, it's just everybody is stepping up to the plate. Everybody is performing. You look at the frags across the board, it's actually pretty even spread, so there's no man single-handedly carrying them through. Kenny S will miss the shot over on long A. This is definitely going to be a change around. NBK will get Apex down, and that is going to be Envy pushing onto A side.
Yes, and Kenny S only has 53 points of health going up against them. They needed to move quickly, and they really didn't. They doubled back down into the ladder room and have held, and that's allowed a Maniac to come in. We'll see whether they can do anything about it. They were expecting something counter-aggressive from Titan, or they were trying to make them think that there was a B push. I'm not sure what the thought process was, but Maniac pushes in, tries to capitalize on the flash, gets one, but is traded, and MBK will get there before he is dropped by Kenny S. Kenny S pushes out and will go through. The interesting point is Kenny S should close out this round. Does another 2 frags there. It's only Happy to go. Kenny has 3. Will Happy go any further? No. So the interesting point there, pushing the man down into the ladder room and flashing out. Yes, it was a 1-for-1 trade, but he saw everybody. And that allowed them to know, right, this definitely is an A push. Kenny, you can then go and pick up these next frags. That little bit of information, though it cost them a life, won them the round.
Absolutely, and it was Kenny, of course, that flashed him in there, so they were ready. They knew exactly what they were doing there. They read Envy completely, expecting that setup. And now, it is absolutely force time for Envy. You can see, trying to get what they can. It is just a Tech 9 for Smiths. We've got AKs for MBK, Happy and Shocked, but a Galil for Kayashima. They have managed to get the head armor on. And again, it is another creep towards the B side, but they're walking straight into a very good set defense that's worked out so well in the past. And RPK completely unseen, will just mow them down from behind. Nobody checked the corners. NBK does get himself one, but just like that, Titan will once again secure themselves. And as soon as they've got weapons on this B site, Envy have just not been able to get near it. And they really are setting up so well. Apex there, you can see his score across all majors. Really very well played for him, 1.22 overall. But more importantly, he's actually the bottom fragger for Titan right now. It doesn't matter. That's just the point. Titan, everybody on Titan is stepping up.
Well, the interesting thing to look at is Envy, their T side has been terrible. Yes, they won the pistol and converted, but subsequently they've won no rounds. They don't have a T side, it would appear, here on Cobblestone. MBK and Shocks picking themselves up frags and looking to try and make me look a little more sillier than I already do, and that will be another one for them. Maniac is the one who will finally stop that attack in its rut, but it'll be Happy to come through, and RPK dropped by MBK. And oh, suddenly it looks so easy.
Suddenly, well, I mean, that was a big round for Envy, no doubt about it. And they actually played it fast and loose. They just managed to get straight in there. However, they lost a lot of weapons, which will force them a little bit. They have managed to get everything on the board. But the problem is, Titan have won so many rounds back-to-back that they have all the money for days. And now we see an auto sniper from Existence.
Just because he can. And there is certainly still more of a mountain to climb for Envy. The Kenny SLB boosted in, went looking, and is unable to see anything up on the mid area. And we'll just retreat back, but Shox is the one who has to win this duel. If he can win long A, then he can anchor an attack in towards that site. The reality is, though, Happy is just keeping control of halls, and the 3 players that are about to make their way into the ladder room are yet to really be happy with any direction that they go. Shox still meandering down that long A area.
Well, that last push seems to have got Titan second-guessing themselves a touch here. They've definitely adjusted positions, making sure they don't get caught out. They're defending deep on the A site. Apex is about to get a heck of a surprise. Could he try and sneak one through the smoke? They are working their way up ramp. He's covered away, though, and that Molly will find its target, but Shox will get the kill, return, while he burns hot-footed around there. Maniac, he's tucked in the corner. I don't think they know he's there. Tell a lie. Kayashima lined up, ready for it, but he will get down one. The bomb plant coming in, and now it is just Existence to save. He's going to run away, not going to challenge it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will be all square. 14-14. What a finish to the first game of the day.
well, suddenly a great round from Team EnVy. If you judge based on the reaction time of the rotation what Titan knew of that EnVy attack, they didn't know much at all because RPK didn't move until it was way too late. And the only one who really could have changed that round was Maniac, sat all the way deep in the bomb site because they had no idea he was there. In fact, he possibly could have waited there out a long, long time in there.
Oh!
And then he will lose that auto sniper at the end as well. So 14-14. T-Man, where's your money going?
Oh, I gotta be honest, I still think it's Titan. I'm just seeing what they could buy for this one. They have had some solid defensive rounds, but good 2 rounds from EnVy. Has that suddenly give them what they needed to get over this finish line? Titan have been defending well, but it's actually EnVy that have switched it up. It's been 2 A pushes that have got themselves those last 2 rounds on the board. Let's see whether they stick with it or whether they try and sell a dummy. You can see on the minimap where they're going. The question is, oh, this is going to be a fast play, it seems. They're just going to rush straight on towards that B site.
RPK will be the man who's had a great game thus far, waiting with for the open arms, and Shocks delivers for EnVy. Now they might have an opportunity here. Opening 2 frags, they should get in that site. Lost damage on Smith, but this is looking really good for EnVy.
Oh, Kenny S doesn't manage to land the second, gets Kayashima down, but has to back away, and you already see Titan are going for this save. Oh, it's a little bit slowed down there. I thought Happy was going to catch up to him, but they're going to try and save that weapon. Kenny S just in the open. Happy didn't quite catch a glimpse of him. But this will be match point for EnVy. Titan now down 15-14 after what was looking like an incredible CT side. After a great T side, EnVy get themselves 6 rounds on the board on that T side, and that's exactly what they needed.
That's the sign of champions. That's why they win a major, because they can just flick a switch that turns a terrible half into just enough. They're going to have this map point. It's an open game. We know that Titan have the strats to be able to hold off or to resist a T push from EnVy, but really a little bit of class from EnVy that you have to admire.
Here we go. Final round, ladies and gentlemen. Will it be EnVy or will it be Titan forcing it into overtime? What a start to what will be hopefully a magnificent major. You can see just shy of 400,000 of you already watching for game 1 of the tournament on at 2 p.m. on a Thursday afternoon. Who would have thought it, ladies and gentlemen? Let's see how it works out. It's going to be a fast push, and just like that, it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but that immediately gives all the information to Titan. They know where they are. Kenny has been pushed. He tries to go for the no-scope. It's not going to work. Smiths is through, and EnVy are onto A side.
Here we go. RPK is going to be the man who's going to have to save it. Can he roll back the years? Or will Happy shine through? No, RPK gets the frag. He and Existence up against 3, but one of them is MBK, who has just 2 points of health. Something tagged RPK as he was going away there, and he's low, and this is it. 3-man after plant. RPK in Existence. Existence with an auto sniper to have to make the difference.
One single shot will give his position away. That will. Shocks though, flashed out. Is it going to be enough? Oh, no scope in auto sniper does the work. He manages to find the second. Will get ignited, but MBK lands the shot. And just like that, EnVy will take victory. 16-14 in the first match. They will go through to the winner bracket, but what a first game we have here, Tosspot.
Boy, did EnVy have a scare. Titan took them all the way down to the wire with a great CT side. But EnVy flicked a switch and they pulled it off. That last round, the crucial moment was the speed of the attack. Kenny S didn't know whether to retreat all the way back up to the bomb site. He got caught on the CT ramp and was going to go nowhere afterwards.
And talking about MBK, you know, Happy was miles ahead in the frags. 28 he ended up with. MBK caught him up. He really stepped it up in those last few rounds. He is the man we're going to hear from as well once we get this interview set up. Of course, you can see the team's French pride was on the line. And of course, they will congratulate one another. Very close teams, no doubt about it. Hell, let's face it, they were on the same team at one point.
What a way to start the tournament. Are you not entertained? 16-14 going all the way down to the wire. And a reminder that the top echelons of CS, anyone can beat anyone on any given Sunday.
Yeah. Oh, you had to get that line in there, didn't you? Hi, Sir Scoots. Thank you very much. But yeah, wow. Who will join them? That's the question. LGB were 10-2 up last time we heard. We'll try and get those results as soon as we know them, of course. But for now, let's get over to the stage to have some words from MBK.
Thank you so much, guys. Words escape me. I mean, Nathan, first of all, congratulations on an amazing, amazing first game. We couldn't have wished for a better one. I guess the question on everybody's lips is, talk us through. What did that feel like?
So we started pretty confident on the map. We know it's not one of their best maps. They didn't practice that much. We have a very shaky city side with just 2 anti-eco, which was very bad from our side. Then yeah, on the second side, we lost 2 versus 1 against Maniac. That kind of put us down. And yeah, then I had like a series of good rounds altogether, and luckily in the end, the headshots went on our side, and we managed to get the key rounds. And yeah, very, very solid win in my opinion, because we were taken down and we managed to come back up. So we're very happy.
Now, Maniac, obviously, we spoke to him before, you know, he played phenomenally. I mean, what's that like when you see somebody that's really getting in their zone and they're up against you in a game like that?
Well, it's still one player in the team, so you try to continuously play on their weaknesses, and that's what we tried to do. We tried to adapt our game. We went on the B-bomb side at the beginning because we knew they were weak on that spot. It didn't work out. We got completely shut down, and then yeah, we just went free on the map and started using our skill, and yeah, we're glad it worked out.
Now, I have to ask, because I was watching it, you know, to see that kind of that lead that you had, kind of then come back. What do you say to the team in a moment like that? How do you guys get yourself back on form, saying, all right, let's pick ourselves up, we can still do this, that belief?
Well, it was mainly at the middle of the second side. Yeah, we were leading 12-6, and then they managed to win 14-12. And yeah, at that point, we knew that some rounds had to go on our way. It didn't. But yeah, at that point, we just said, okay, let's start over again. Like, let's go back to the basics. And yeah, that's just what we did. We just played grouped against their weaknesses. I mean, we tried to play against their weaknesses, and yeah, it just went our way because we managed to get a headshot faster than them at that time.
Well, buddy, I can't say absolutely congratulations. A phenomenal game. I mean, I'm sure watching at home, watching here, the crowd was phenomenal. We couldn't have wished for a better one. You guys progressed. Let's see who you've got next. But of course, in order to talk about that, there is a man, and I'm passing it over to him now, and his name is The Machine.
We do have word. It's going to be LGB who managed to advance 16-3 up against Penta on Dust 2 was the map as well. So we know the opponents, of course, that means Titan are going to be going up against Penta in their decider match. And first thing we need to talk about, guys, what a game. We were sitting there, we were up in our seats. That was such a fantastic way to start off our 4 days of CSGO. And Casper, you were just before, you were getting so excited. Round 29, talk me through it.
That's like one of the most important rounds of the game. It's 14-14, and it's about making the right decisions. EnVy has had some trouble opening up on that A-bomb side, and they finally make it work like 2 rounds in a row. That makes Titan wonder, are they going to go for the A-bomb side again? Most likely, that's what has been working out for them. So they decide to put one of the rotators more heavily towards A, and that's when the call comes in from someone on EnVy that this round we rush B. It worked perfectly. The guy was alone and isolated, slow rotation, and that round changed the game.
And there seemed to be an overarching kind of agreement with us that Titan started to get complacent. It was around that kind of, they get 14 rounds, and then what happened, Hika? You had some insight into that.
Yeah, Titan was playing very, very passive. They were playing very together, very team-structured CS. And all of a sudden, like that moment of complacency really showed on that exact round where they were not really in the right positions. They were kind of fumbling around. RBK didn't even actually make it to the back of B that round. So I don't know if they were just talking about it or if they just they had that taste of the victory, that that 14th round, and they were up 2 rounds at that point too. So yeah, I mean, it really showed, and EnVyUs just kind of abused it, and they took that one crucial round. They ran away with it from there.
Can I put the word choke in your mouth? Do you think that's what Titan were thinking? Like, was that them thinking we're 2 rounds away to besting our kind of rivals from France?
To an extent, yeah. I mean, it's hard to be in that position and actually realize exactly what happened, and actually to regain your footing after that is very hard to do, especially when the game is that close and there's only like 1 or 2 more rounds that you actually have to play. So yeah, maybe a little bit of a choke.
Okay, Anders?
Well, actually, that round where they rushed B was really weird as well, because even though Titan obviously weren't really good positions to deal with it, they still had people who are close up to that wall, that they can hear people running in there. And it should actually probably become like a standard thing on Cbbl, that you always, no matter what you do, you always have someone who runs there just to listen. Kind of like you do on B-bomb side of Mirage, right? You always have one person running catwalk, just because you want to know if someone's rushing B, and that person will tell you instantly. You can throw down your Molotovs and everything else. Titan even had people there, and still somehow they weren't able to make the call that there's a lot of people rushing in. You can hear the footsteps and everything. So that was a very confusing round in many ways. I don't know why. It's true they weren't in position, but they actually had the time and the intel to get into position. So it seemed like more a sort of a general breakdown, maybe like a communication error that we just don't know about. But it was there was something up there.
I definitely want to talk to Maniac after that one and see what was happening for him, because he was so up and down. Some amazing plays from him. And Lauren, what do you feel about this game?
I just can't help but feel how much the map has changed since the time that I really got to watch it throughout the majors, how these teams are really starting to press forward, and we're seeing such a higher caliber of play and so many new spots, new boosts, new slight adaptions that are coming through. Like every single round here, and they were like, wow, that's a new position. I didn't even think of that. It was existence just being popped up onto this slight plateau there, and it made such a difference because you don't pre-aim those angles, and obviously there's that small second that it takes to adapt, but I think that we've realized how close the competition here is as well, and it's great to see that reflected not only in the game, but in the scoreline as well.
And Casper, I mean, other than the boost, that was a game full of so many crazy moments.
It was.
Anything that stood out to you?
Maniac stood out for me, especially in like the majority of the game, falling a bit through in the last rounds, but so did entire Titan. The thing I really want to point out is, which me and Hiko talked about down watching the game, was that Titan changed up their playstyle from being passive in that round where they got 14, where they sent Kenny aggressive with the AWP in the left hole, and they had a guy really close in middle as well. And Kenny unfortunately whiffed some shots, and it's going to make them stupid because they won so many rounds in a row by playing passive and go aggressive for one round and losing a guy like that. But if he would have hit those shots, everyone would be like, oh, they surprised Envy and stuff, so game-changing moment as well. And Maniac, that was a way to shut down the criticism, for sure.
100%, definitely. 17 frags and about halfway into that game. Massive play from him. And General Anders, any thoughts on the final game?
Yeah, sorry, it's been popular vote.
I love it.
They had to be on both
sides.
sides. Scoot was getting very angry on Twitter.
Good old Scoot.
So, exactly. So look, one thing that we also saw in this game, which I think is really interesting, is that we saw a really big difference. You were talking about structures, Counter-Strike, Hiko, and one of the things that we saw Titan do a lot was set each other up for flashbangs. A very simple principle. One guy flashes in, the other guy takes the peek. So simple stuff like that. Now, Happy ended up having a terrific game, as he generally is like an incredible player. But actually, a lot of Happy's kills, they come from him just sort of individually deciding to do something. And if you look at the way Happy plays Counter-Strike, I feel like it's almost, if you had to write a book to teach new people, you say, don't do anything that Happy ever does, because it's really crazy. You see him get one kill at the edge of a smoke, and then, like, when you're playing CT side, and he was at that point in time, you want to fall back. You have the advantage. Now you play it safe. Instead, Happy flashes himself through the smoke and then runs and kills someone. You shouldn't do that, and that is also why he's so hard to play against.
Let's return to something Laura mentioned just a little earlier on. She was talking about how the map has changed, and of course, I know you guys had something to contribute regarding just the changes to Cbbl and also maybe how that's affected the CT to T balance, because you already said that maybe it's not so bad as it was.
Yeah, I think the last time we actually seen Cbbl played in a major was the last DreamHack before they actually changed stuff. So now it seems like they shortened or they actually made it longer for you to actually rush B as a T. They blocked out the area where you could just jump out. So you actually didn't see that many B rushes. It definitely feels, it's still a little CT-sided, but it's not as, before it was like 12-3, 11-4, sometimes 10-5. Now it's like 9-6, 8-7 seems to be okay. And yeah, I mean, even if you look at like the A site, they added that like the big tank or the truck there where you can hide behind. So it makes it a little bit more difficult for the CTs to kind of retake the bomb sites. So yeah, I actually like the new Cbbl. It feels pretty cool.
And I mean, that was such a game on it. You saw Cbbl, sometimes we were worried. We were like, one of these teams is going to get a little bit too much of a lead. 16-14, it couldn't have been closer.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we saw Cbbl, we were kind of tiny disappointed because the storyline for this game would be that they play a map against each other now, which they already played before. Or like you would have something which you could rely on. Like we know that Kenny S is always going to be doing these things and does too, and you see Happy and NBK playing these setups and B on Inferno, but we have nothing to rely on this Cbbl. And the interesting thing is, it turned out to be one hell of a game.
Okay, closing points from you, Lauren.
There's a few, but the one that I don't think we hit yet was the CZs back in action.
Yeah, that's
in
true.
real force as well, especially for CTs. I guess with the map changes, it does make sense. It's a map of corridors that you can really put it to use. So I'm looking forward to seeing if maybe that's a team change or if it is specific to that map. And I feel it's more of the map change.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's the map as well. I don't know about you, Spencer. I think it's kind of the map because it's so close combat. But the thing is, Tech9 is also strong close combat. And it's very, sorry, the 5-7 is also really strong close combat. It can one-shot into the head. So.
Well, was it Kenny in that moment when he pushed towards the back of sight? And if only it maybe hit one more shot?
Yeah,
or
that was the pistol run, yeah.
Yeah, we were questioning that investment of a CZ. Do you think that was a mistake in hindsight?
I mean, if they ended up going A, he was in a very good position for it.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, he shot like 7 or 8 bullets at the guy who actually peeked him at that very last second, and he just missed. So that says a lot to the CZ's inaccuracy too. So I don't know. I personally am still a fan of a 5.7. I will always use the 5.7. So.
Finally, closing points from you.
Well, actually, I think part of the theme that we didn't get to talk about introducing this game, but for the whole tournament, is 1 more month. I think there's a bunch of teams in this tournament that needed 1 more month to be where they want to be. Titan is one of them. LGB is another one. They made it through. Penta is another one. NIP is even one with Allo being joined. All of these teams, they needed just another month to put everything together. And that doesn't mean it's going to be bad, but it means it's going to be really, really hard to see. We don't know yet how far they've come. Maybe some of them only needed like a couple of weeks, so they'll be really good. But I think a bunch of them are going to need just a little bit more time. So we've caught them at an interesting time. It's like a trial by fire thing going on here.
Yeah, and you mentioned LGB. Let's have a quick look at the brackets so we can see how these games are going to start shaping up. As you can see on your screen, that 16-14 result. It's a big contrast to the game that was played off-screen with LGB besting Penta 16-3 over on Dust 2. So the 2 maps we've seen so far in this tournament, Dust 2 and Cbbl. I wouldn't have guessed, I'm sure you guys wouldn't have either. We were like, Cbbl? Cbbl? Fantastic. And we're going to be having so many more games, guys, coming up just after the break. We'll be back very shortly, but do not forget, at ESLCS, we're going to be plugging that throughout the event, as well as hashtag ESL One, and you can get involved with us here at the desk.